America needs a comeback. I beat a chronic drug addiction and dedicated the last 20 years of my life building the kingdom of God as a pastor and a popular conference speaker. But I watched as our nation slipped further and further away from its destiny. So I came from behind the pulpit to help reunite our country and inspire the church to get out of the four walls and get into the fight for our nation. Now, we talk to people that I've met along the way that are fighting for faith, family, and freedom. I've been fighting my whole life. Now, I'm fighting for you, and these people are fighting by my side. We need a comeback, and I'm an American comeback story. I'm Derrick Gates, and this is The Current.
What's going on, everyone? I get so tickled every time I watch that video, because just remembering the different events that we've done and all the people we've met along the way and the excitement that built over the last few years of just patriots and Christians coming together for this purpose. But another episode of The Current, I have an awesome guest with me today, my friend Chris. I met her at one of these rallies in the beginning when they were a little smaller. And I met her there, and we've kind of built a relationship over the last couple of years, right? It's been about 2 years. Yeah. And I'm excited to say that she's running for public office now, and that is a massive step. That's a huge step, and we're going to visit with her today about that and what she believes in, where she hopes this goes, and kind of the state of California, United States. So, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you. So give us the elevator pitch, the 30-second who you are and what you're running for.
Okay, so as you know, Christina Irwin. I am a mom to 3 kids. They go to LAUSD. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a wife. I'm a Christian who's pro-Israel. I'm an immigrant. I mean, the list goes on. Recently, an activist. You know, I've been to almost every rally for my kids' freedom, against mass, pro-freedom, pro-normal. I do not believe the government should have any say when it comes to our own autonomy. So I'm a big fighter in that.
Yeah, yeah. You got how many kids?
Only 3.
Only 3. Only 3. 3's a handful. What's the age?
The ages are 13 and a half, 11 and a half, and 1 who is 9.
Wow, wow. Boys, girls?
Boy, girl, boy. So the girl's in the middle, and she's spoiled.
Oh, I bet.
A good
I bet. So, you know, we met each other in Santa Monica, I believe, at a rally. What do you think, in your opinion, what do you think has been accomplished with these rallies that we were doing?
Oh, we fired up people. I mean, people are just like ecstatic. I know a lot of the moms that I talk to in the moms group, and a few dads, you know, such as yourself, they're upset with what's now being taught in schools, with what's happening with the school district, with, wait, who's actually in charge? The school district, the school superintendent, the teachers' unions, everything's coming out slowly but surely, and I think these patriotic movements have only just begun.
Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and it's interesting, you know. I believe what's happening now is what the framers of the Constitution, our country, had in mind, which is everyday people taking a hold of the government and being the voice for the people. You know, not people that have been bred their entire lives to be in office, but a real estate agent, a carpenter, a plumber, whoever it is, you know. That's why I say everybody should be running for something. If you feel led, don't let money stop you. I mean, we've had no money, you know. We've raised probably the least amount, but I think, you know, one of the things that people continually said is you've done more with less, you know, and so don't let those type of things stop you. Don't let people tell you no. And so you're running for state senate, and when we looked at the map last night when I was with you, it looked like basically it's my old congressional district before they did the redistricting, which was known as the largest district in the United States.
It's huge.
It's huge. So tell them where that is.
So it goes from Malibu to Topanga into Calabasas, Segura Hills, Hidden Hills. Then it goes down inland to Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Santa Monica, definitely Venice, Pacific Palisades, I believe parts of West LA, all the way down south to the South Bay, Torrance, Lomita, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Rancho Palos Verdes, and Palos Verdes.
It's exactly my old congressional district. That for whatever reason, they shortened it to where I get Santa Monica all the way down now. But it's such a massive area. It can take. We were saying it could take 3 hours to drive from one end to the other. How many voters are in that district? Do you know?
Oh, I have to get back to you on that. A plethora of voters.
It's got to be
so many, and a lot of declined to state, and some didn't even vote in the last election. It's a mess.
I think it has to be about 1.5 million, because I have 756,000 in my current district. So you'd be maybe even almost 2 million voters, because I think it would be doubled.
That sounds about right.
Wow. So you're running on some specific topics that you find important in your life and your circle of influence and people you know. Let's talk about parents real quick. Let's talk about, you're a parent, so obviously that's close to you. Where are you at with like the school choice, that type of thing?
I'm 100% for school choice. I believe parents should definitely, not just the PTA, they should have a seat at the table. I know a couple of moms in certain school districts that are running for the school board, which I applaud them and I encourage them. And I think, like you were saying, all of us, patriots, moms, dads, grandparents, whoever, get in there, be local, be centralized, hear us roar, because we're not done.
Right.
Like, we haven't even we barely put our little toe in the water, because all this corruption that's happening is going to affect the next generation. And we're so far behind that I think it's like 20 years of this indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's slowly coming into the light. And as a mom, when COVID hit and the school shutdowns, as you know, and the lockdowns and all this, and I remember my kid, who was my oldest, my firstborn, he was in 6th grade, honors. And then when the school shutdowns happened, all of a sudden he's like, yep, I'm done, I'm not going to school. And I said, what are you talking about? You have to. It's Zoom school, it's not real. I'm not learning anything. I might as well be watching TV. And it's some of the times, he was watching TV. Right. And the professors on screen, when I'd walk by, they were, eating spaghetti and like slurping up the noodles. One was changing a kid's diaper. One had dogs barking. I'm like, this is not, a learning environment.
No.
It was horrible. And needless to say, he got all Fs.
We'll see the damage from this for years to come. For years to come, we'll see the damage of what shutting schools down did. And I mean, the damage has already been done in a lot of other areas. The CRT thing has been a big thing. Critical race theory. What a lot of people, I'm sure you know this, but a lot of people don't know is that critical race theory, which is called critical theory in college, has been taught for 30, 40 years, and so now the kids that were taught that 30, 40 years ago are now the ones that are controlling the school boards now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we get that, and that's why it's important that we take school boards back.
And just on that note, in my 3rd graders' elementary school, they're now learning social emotional learning, which is another code word.
What does that mean?
How are you feeling today? Are you okay? Do you feel a little negative today? Let's talk about it. Do you feel like you've been oppressed? So it's basically the first baby step into the CRT. It's disgusting.
That's so, just teach math.
They can't.
It's
Math
racist.
is racist.
Math is racist.
They can't learn, and there's no more honors. So my kids are like, wait, what? And they're not like me.
You don't have to try anymore. There's no trying.
Yeah, my kids are great in math, and they're like, hey.
The reality is it makes our country vulnerable. This makes us vulnerable. Other countries, China, Russia, other countries that are, mega countries, they're laughing at us.
Oh yeah.
They are laughing at us. And what we're literally doing right now is opening the door for a hostile takeover at some time in the future. And who's going to fight them? Who's going to fight these countries? Who's going to fight China? Who's going to fight Russia? Wait, let me stop and talk about my feelings. Let me stop and talk about my feelings for a minute.
First they have to decide which gender they are, and then they can see who's going to fight and take the lead. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Right, absolutely. And there's about 252 genders now?
Something like that.
That's what they say? Well, if you're watching, we believe Two genders, male, female. Pretty easy to figure it out. Just, when you're in the shower, take a glance, you'll know. That's it. That's how you figure it out.
That's true.
So let's talk about Los Angeles and the crime that's happening right now. What do you think has led to the crime wave? I mean, literally, the sheriff, Sheriff Alex, the police chiefs, different people have literally said, don't come to LA, it's not safe.
Well, Santa Monica, my old stomping grounds, where you and I first met at that rally, which was an amazing one, by the way, that's now the second crime-ridden city, the worst of all the cities. It's number 2.
Unbelievable.
I don't even know what number 1 is. I don't want to know, because Santa Monica, I went to school there. I grew up there. I went to the malls there. That is my hood. That's where I resonate with. And
wow.
To make it, and we moved out of there a couple of years ago, and now it's the second worst city in Los Angeles. That's devastating. And to answer your question, it all starts with the DA. We have a DA that doesn't do his job.
Yeah.
We have a soft snowflake DNA.
His DNA is snowflake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Freudian slip. Yeah, he's basically a snowflake. He doesn't do his job. He needs to prosecute. He needs to take care of the criminals. And what he's doing...
Yeah, we need him out.
We need him out.
Yeah.
And, they think the first time failed, and we're trying to get him the second time, and they're actually recalling the one in San Francisco, who's basically a carbon copy of him.
Right. I don't think the recall is going to work, and this is why I think that. Most people don't know who he is. The reason the Newsom recall at least made it to the ballot was because everybody knew who that guy was. Because we've worked some of the recall Gascon tables, people are like, who's that? Everybody knew Newsom. If you're not directly affected by crime in some way, you just don't even know who he is. And it's a shame. But what we got to do is we got to vote him out. We got the elections coming. It's just if you keep doing the same stupid things, you're going to win the same stupid prizes. And you're right. That's where it starts. And do you think the homeless? I think it's an epidemic. I call it a homeless epidemic. As a matter of fact, there was a study done last year that said the homeless would increase by 84% in the next 4 years in Los Angeles. 84%. Now, if you look at the numbers, they'll tell you there's only 60,000 homeless people in LA. But anybody from LA knows right away that's a lie. We work on Skid Row, and they'll tell you it's more like 200,000 homeless people in LA, and probably more. So you're looking at what, 500,000 or more homeless people in the next 4 years?
Well, basically what's going to be left in LA or Los Angeles County is the homeless population and the illegal immigrants if we don't close our borders.
Right.
Everyone else is leaving California.
Facts.
They are. Facts.
Facts.
So we're going to have these two populations. So if something's not done about it, and it's not, they don't have a place to live, oh, let's throw more money at them.
Yep.
Which is what people on the left want to do.
Yep.
That hasn't worked. Why would it work now all of a sudden?
No.
A lot of these people, more than 75%, as you know, have mental issues, substance abuse problems. Some want to be there.
Yep.
They don't want to pay taxes. They want to live like nomads.
That's right.
And we can't, you want to talk about humanity, we, as human beings who have a compassionate heart, we shouldn't let that happen. And not only that, that's not good for public safety for them and for us.
Right. We've been at Skid Row doing ministry work down there many times, and there'll be babies in tents and nobody's around. They're sitting there crying.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
And the system in Los Angeles County is set up right now, probably all of California, you can't do anything about it. If I was to take the baby out of there, that's so I'll get in trouble for kidnapping, but they won't get in trouble for child abuse and child endangerment.
This is exactly why I'm running for state senate, because I'm going to rewrite some laws. I'm going to use the laws that we have already on the books, and I'm going to get stuff done.
Yeah. So tell me what you are going to do to make changes in these type of things. What are you going to do?
First of all, let's utilize the laws that we already have.
Right.
The Board of Supervisors, a bunch of derelicts on The View, basically, glorified. They're not doing their job.
Right.
And thankfully, we have two wonderful, women that are running for the board. So we're going to have to vote on that in June.
And who's running?
I believe her name is Jeffy Gergenti,
I
and
know
the other
Jeffy.
one, I believe, is Roxanne Beckford Hogue.
I don't know her, but I know Jeffy.
Yes. So they're amazing. They're strong women, and they're out to get the job done. And it starts with them because we have laws on the books, but either they don't want to utilize it or Gavin Newsom doesn't want to do anything about it.
Right.
You know, and if he was smart, which he is not.
He's not.
He is absolutely not. He's a narcissist. If he was smart, he'd say, you know what? This is an emergency. We have an emergency. We need to declare a state of emergency and figure out this homeless problem immediately.
Right.
It's causing crime. It's causing chaos. People are scared to go out on the street. These homeless are getting worse and worse. I mean, they're literally a detriment to themselves.
100%.
I can't take my kids to the park.
Nope.
You know, the first thing I want to do, work with the Board of Supervisors, hopefully, let's hope and pray, a new governor, and get this done and utilize the facilities. There are about three or four vacant facilities that we currently have. Why not use them? Abandoned malls, old hospitals, whatever the situation is, old motels, hotels.
Yep.
Let's make it a turnaround, you know, a tiered system where it's multi-tiered, where you have a facility for the drug and alcohol abuse.
Yep, yes.
Get them treatment. You know, make it like a voucher system. If you do 60 days sober or whatnot, you know, you get a voucher for going into your class, a vocational school.
Right.
You want to learn how to be a mechanic. You want to learn how to, you know, be an
And
whatever
what
it
happens
is.
if they don't do it? So you know, one of the things that we notice is that, you know, first of all, we've spent an outrageous amount of money on these tiny homes and housing, and there's spent almost $1 million for one tiny home. You can buy a full-blown 3-bedroom house for $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. But what they do is they'll take the house, and then they go in and they tear it to pieces, and then they're right back out on the street. So nothing changes with them.
Right.
So what do we do with the people that just don't want to do it? They just don't want the responsibility.
You have to change the laws. You have to hold them against their will.
Right.
You know, whether that's I can't say the word, conservatorship.
Right, yep.
Or whatever other law, any means necessary. And I will be working hand in hand, I hope, with the sheriff, with the other Republicans in state and Congress. We need to fix this.
Right.
This starts at our local level,
Right.
city council, board of supervisors, work your way up. I mean, it's not about throwing money. Yes, you give a homeless a mansion, but if there's nothing up there, if they have abuse problems, you know, whether
Yep.
they've been physically abused, mentally abused, they have depression problems, anxiety, substance abuse, it doesn't matter. You give them a homeless,
Yep.
you give them a mansion, or you give them a shelter, they're still going to ruin it.
That's right. That's right. Because you got to fix the problem.
Got to fix them, yeah.
And I think, you know, one of the things, the root of it goes, you know, obviously you mentioned it, but mental illness. You know, most of these people are mentally ill in some way. And if you're not mentally ill when you hit the streets, it won't be long before you are mentally
yeah.
ill. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling a couple last night, you know, I understand the whole dilemma. You know, you become homeless and you want to drink and do drugs to forget about it.
Yeah.
And then it's not long, then you have drug-induced psychosis.
It's domino
and
effect.
it's a domino effect,
Yeah.
and it becomes a vicious circle, you know. But when Reagan was governor and then president, he put some things in effect to do away with a lot of the mental health facilities. I understood what he was doing. He was doing it because we were just warehousing people. They weren't really getting help. But I don't think he saw the landslide that was going to happen from that.
Right.
You know, we should have basically reworked the mental health system, not shut the mental health system down. So I think we got to open those facilities back up, do some things like you're saying. There are thousands of federally owned facilities
Absolutely.
in just LA County that are empty. You know, it's just like the VA, which is in your district.
Well,
the
now they have
West
the-
LA VA.
Exactly. And now, I mean, thankfully with the sheriff, he moved all those people inside, but
Right.
now they're not actually inside the VA.
They're not inside, they're just inside the fence.
They're inside the fence in their little tiny homes or tents, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense because they have hundreds of buildings there
Yeah.
on campus that are completely empty. You
The
know,
solution is there. I mean, people just have to want to do it. These deep pockets, you know, from the left, they're not doing anything about it. These solutions are clear and simple. I went to Burbank. You know, I was passing through Pasadena. In Beverly Hills, maybe one homeless.
yeah,
How do you explain
because their
that?
city council's hammer, they're not going to allow it there.
Exactly.
Whereas in other parts of our districts, they just, you know, they're more liberal and they're just going to let them do. It's called social justice. They believe that it's in, so they can. So for instance, they can camp outside your house in Venice Beach, right on your sidewalk, and they're not going to make a move.
Right.
You know, your kids will have to literally fight through feces and drug needles and drunkenness and fights and crime to get to the school bus. You know, it's just, it's not safe and it's not right. It's not moral for either side, like you said.
Absolutely.
It's not right for them. It's not right for the homeowner. It's not right for the hundreds of business, thousands of businesses.
Thousands.
Venice Beach has almost come to a stop.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the boardwalk goes, because of the homeless population. People don't want to go there anymore.
You know, and having grown up in the West Side, I mean, we used to go to Venice Boardwalk with my friends. We'd walk down there, we'd go to those shops, we'd eat, we'd just hang out at the beach. And unbelievable. I mean, yeah, there was always street performers, you know, they were fun, and there was a few homeless. But I never had to be like, oh, who's going to come and grab my purse?
Right.
It wasn't about that. It was just, okay, there's a few of them here and there. Literally, we need to declare a state of emergency. You want to talk about a pandemic? This is it.
That's it. That's exactly it. There's literally Instagram accounts dedicated to Venice Beach crime. Like, and they make fun of it. They're making fun of it because it's so crazy what happens down there. You know, the homeless people are fighting all day long, and I mean, they're like
Usually
bringing
with themselves.
bringing swords out.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy stuff. It's just insane. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. This is the city we live in. This is the future of California. It's like watching, what was the show, Escape from L.A.?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. That's the L.A. we're moving into.
Yeah.
You know, we're one step away from whatever that guy's name is, having to come in and rescue Kurt Russell coming in to rescue us out of L.A.
Or
It's
Mad
like,
Max, yeah.
Yeah, Mad Max. It's exact, and that's where we live. That is literally where we live. It's unbelievable. So your election is same time as mine. The primary is what, June?
June 7th, yeah. So you'll go into the ballot. I'm a write-in candidate, and you're going to see my opponent's name, and it's going to say write-in candidate. You're going to circle the bubble, and then you're going to write in my name.
Right.
Spelled Christina, Kristina.
They got to have it right.
Yes, and then Irwin, IRWIN, win with Irwin.
Right. So how did you end up being a write-in candidate versus on the ballot?
Well, another one of my issues.
Because that's what people don't understand that
Exactly.
here. It's a rigged system.
Exactly. Another one of my issues will be election integrity. That's a big one. You know, and first of all, those Dominion machines, they got to go. They're not working. They got to go. There's nothing wrong with pen and paper. What I want to do is I want to propose one day, let's make it an election holiday, take it off work, go. Let's open up the polling places, the churches, the temples, the schools, and let's just get people to go in person. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, no more ballot harvesting. So basically what happened to me, I was 5 signatures short to get on the ballot.
So they throw some of yours out? Is that what
And they
that's what
didn't
happened?
tell me any information that I needed to know
They
because
won't.
I'm running as a Republican, so they don't want me. They don't want
that
me,
is
people.
that is the information.
Yeah.
You run it
and I
as a
said, do I have
Republican.
time? Can I go gather these 5? Not a problem. No, sorry.
Yep.
They didn't tell me beforehand. So here I am as a writing candidate. I'm not going to give
And was
up.
you were running for city council at that time, right?
I did for city council, and then I also jumped in the race because I saw the incumbent was running unopposed, and I said, that's not going to happen.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to run as a write-in candidate if it's unopposed. And it also gives you, if for some reason you don't win, it gives you power going into the next election.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which is important, you know. It makes you the go-to candidate for the next election, and we'll make sure that those things don't happen again. You got the CRA endorsement last night.
I did.
We were at the same meeting. And so for those that don't know, that's the California Republican Assembly. Now, did you get the GOP endorsement?
I was on my way. I was on my way to get that endorsement, and I received that horrific phone call saying that I had 5 less than I should have.
Okay.
And then they don't do endorsements for write-ins.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I mean, at this point, honestly, a lot of people say that the GOP endorsement is kind of a liability more than a benefit. I don't know if that's exactly true. The GOP needs a lot of work in California. In my opinion, is you can't change things unless you're willing to jump in on the inside and change them. And that's why, you know, I've been involved, is I believe that the Republican Party as a whole needs a lot of work in California. We really have a one-party state. So even the Republicans are very leftist here, you know, compared to other states, you know, and a lot of times their left foot is firmly planted on the left side, you know. So we've got to change that. But I think that that people like you and others that we met, Lucy, you know, Rudy, just different people that we know, we're bound and determined to change this party, change the state.
But it's the non-establishment people. It's people like us
Yep.
you wouldn't think look like Republicans.
Right.
You know, an immigrant.
Nobody thinks I'm going to be a Republican.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's people like us who are here, boots on the ground,
Right.
frustrated with what's happening with our kids' school, frustrated what's happening with work, frustrated with the gas prices. I mean, just yesterday.
I saw your video.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, $60. And then, of course, I had to go to the event. This is something I had to do.
Yeah.
Other people, they have to go to work. They have to make money. They have to take the
Yep.
kids to school. You know, and I'm like telling my kids, I'm sorry, I didn't buy enough snacks. My almost
It's got to come from
14-year-old
somewhere. That's,
yeah.
you know, you remember their excuse at the White House was, well, you know, if you had an electric car, you wouldn't have to worry about this.
Not everybody
Oh, yeah.
can afford that.
Let me run out and get a $60,000 electric car because I can't afford a $60 gallon of gas.
Well,
so
that
you
just
want
makes sense,
a
you know.
$60,000 electric car or
I was
more.
just going to go out and buy 2 electric cars. Did you want one?
Yeah,
I mean, hey.
yes, I appreciate that.
And
very
then
much.
I want to know what happens to the batteries.
Yeah, because they're like 10 grand, right, for a battery in the electric cars. It's just absolutely
And to
ridiculous.
dispose of them in the environment.
I'm spending $400 a week on gas because I'm driving everywhere to campaign, and it's $100 to fill my tank up or more on my SUV. You know, and I don't have an SUV because I just wanted an SUV. It's just what I have. You know, and now I can't afford to get a car.
If we only had a gas pipeline here.
Oh,
in the
only if
United
there was a
States.
pipeline. Only it's so weird that all around the South Bay I see all these refineries, but the gas prices are so high still. Maybe it's because of gas taxes. Maybe it's because they shut pipelines down other places. Unbelievable. What they should do,
Yep.
and I'm sure you agree, is open up the stinking oil reserves.
Oh, 100%.
Open back up the pipelines. Gas would drop within a week.
Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill. Awesome. Well, listen, it's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's a
And we'll
pleasure to
have
be
you on
here.
again. And I think you have just an amazing chance to make this happen. And I know you're not going anywhere. A lot of us, it is a long shot for Republicans to win in California, but we're in the fight. You know, we're in the fight
Yeah.
because we have to be in the fight. And it's the big picture. But if not now, when? And if not her, who? If not me, who? We're in this because we got to do it because there's not a choice. It's not for us. It's for you. It's for our kids. It's for your kids. It's for our grandkids. It's because we don't want to live in Mad Max. We don't want to live and escape from L.A. And that's where we're going if we don't make those changes now, guys.
That's right.
Remember, visit the website, officialderrickgates.com. And how do they contact you?
ChristinaIrwin.com. Christina with a K. Irwin, IRWIN.
And listen, I'm telling you right now, everybody thinks somebody else is going to do it. She cannot, especially as a write-in candidate, she has to even work harder than what most people do. So she needs your money. I call it maxing out. So if you
Yes.
go to her website and give as much as you can, it all makes a difference. I mean, yard signs are like $5 a piece. People don't understand this. It costs a lot of money.
And as you know, Derrick, you don't have to be from my district
Nope.
or from even the state of California to donate.
If you're in Florida, in the
Yep.
land of the free, please have some sympathy on us.
Yes.
Give to her campaign. Give to my campaign. Go to our websites and max out. Give as much as you can. We need your help.
Yes.
We're trying to say whatever happens in California happens in the United States
right.
and then will happen in the world. If we don't save this state, the whole country is doomed, guys. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of The Current, and I love you.